Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I hope the sound quality is alright. I dropped my headset. I would really suck if I have to replace it for Christmas. That would really suck. Alrighty. Let me go to profile and let people know that I am live. I am large and in charge. Okay. I am live and rocking and rolling. Okay. Okay. Let's get situated. So. Okay. Just posted that. Do I need to post anywhere else? I think I posted everywhere. Oh, Android Jess is live. I should go watch their stream at some point. I think we're all good to go. Sorry about that. I went to scratch my ear. My entire headset fell off. I hope I didn't make an unbelievable noise. I'll have to check the tape back after stream. Alright. Hey! Hello, everybody. Alright. One of these days, I will sit down and make an NCS playlist so we have a little bit more variety, but right now, we just living and dying by the stream beats. Live by the stream beats, die by the stream beats. Oh my gosh. I'll wait for people to start trickling in. Of course, my mother messages me, my mother texts me now. Right now, when I'm like, as I'm going live. What did she send me? Oh wow, I'm glad I got data. Looks like you have to pay to use the Wi-Fi on this flight. Oh, my mom sent me the thing where it's like, check in. Ah, great. Alright, let me tell my mom I got it. I'll check in the morning. Okay. All right. So, what's everybody doing for the holiday? I have this whole thing, right? I'm going to visit family and I'm taking some gluten flour with me, some chickpea flour, some nutritional yeast. Actually, let me check if I can take I know I can take flour with me. Can I take nutritional yeast? Because that's an important ingredient. I don't want to have to buy more of that. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. Packing your vegan suitcase. What is this? Okay. Well, looks like I should be able to. Hey, Silva, how are you doing? All right. You just talking with Tibonius? Oh, okay. Planning some devious things for the campaign. You getting ready for your you doing a Thanksgiving one shot? Fighting the great turkey? Yes, the week started. It's gonna be an interesting week. Got all the stuff. I'm planning to make some seitan for my family. And like it was really funny because I wanted to make sure that there was going to be nobody celiac because I'm going to be working with gluten. So I texted my mom and I'm like, "Mom, can you contact my aunt and ask her if anyone there is going to be celiac or avoiding gluten?" I think I said, did I say I was cooking something? What did I say? Let me look at my texts. Let's check the receipts. Yeah, I said in there I want to cook some seitan, and so my mom gave me my aunt's number, so I texted my aunt, and I told my mom in my message that I wanted to cook seitan for everybody, right? And I guess my mom didn't know what seitan was, which isn't that unheard of. Like, she hasn't been in the, like, I know she did like a vegan diet for a period of time, but I don't think she was in like the vegan community enough to really get into some of the deep nitty-gritty stuff. So like, then my mom texts me a picture of a tofurkey roast with like gravy and like stuffing and stuff, and she's like, "Is this good? Is this what do you want me to get this for you for Thanksgiving?" And I'm like, I love the idea, I love the energy, but I'm going to be making something that's similar. I'm like, and my mom called me and I tried to explain, like, I'm making a meat substitute that's going to be similar. Well, I didn't tell her it was going to be similar, but I told her I'm making something for everybody. And she was like, "Oh, okay. That's good." And I talked to my aunt. My aunt was like, well, my mom told me I need to talk to my cousin, which is the most bizarre thing, right? I remember when this cousin was born. When I left, the last time I saw this cousin, she was like a wee child in like the early elementary school grades. And for now, um my mom to be like, yeah, she graduated culinary school, she's all about cooking, she's doing all kinds of stuff, so she's going to be doing stuff, she probably knows all the stuff that you're going to be cooking, and you might be able to like coordinate with her to see if maybe you don't have to bring as much stuff, right? And I'm like, okay. So then I talk to her, and it's so weird because like I'm just in my head imagining this like this little kid that I left. But like she's a full-grown adult now, right? And so she's like, what do you know, I heard you want to make something for Thanksgiving. I'm like, yes. She's like, what are you cooking? I'm like, it's called seitan. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, why am I not surprised? I didn't say that, but I'm like, it's a meat substitute made of gluten. And she's like, I think I might have heard about something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's something they teach you in culinary school. They don't teach you about the specifics of like some of the more nitty gritty and niche vegan recipes. I can't imagine that would be covered in culinary school. Which is fine. Like, part of why I'm going on this trip, and it's funny, I was talking to my partner about this, and like she was asking me, like she was saying like she was surprised that I decided to go. And I'm like, part of it is there is this long held hope of mine. That's also true, Nabiru. There is this long held hope of mine that I will be able to introduce my family to seitan, that it will be tasty and delicious, and that they'll like it. And like, so I'm not a super preachy vegan, right? I'm not gonna try to tell people that they're wrong or they're bad, or I'm not going to try to like correct people, right? I'm the kind of person where, but I do still have that hope that more people would go vegan, and that eventually like it would become more normal, more accepted, and that meat production would drastically decrease for the sake of the environment, for the sake of the planet, for the sake of all of us, and for the sake of the animals. But my way of achieving that is to cook really good food for people so that they want to eat vegan food. You catch, which is the old adage, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And I would love to show people that like vegan food can be fun, it can be delicious, it can be savory, and it can be exciting in the kitchen. That's what I want to show people. And that's part of why I'm going. It's like, so my aunt's family is like, from what I understand, they're pescatarian, where they're like vegetarian, but then they still eat fish sometimes. And I'm like, that's cool. And then whenever I talk to them about like what they eat, they're like, we mostly eat tofu dishes. And I'm like, okay, if most of what you're yeah, exactly, Nabiru. And I'm like, I was there when I first went vegan of like living on tofu. But I think if you don't have a gluten allergy and you're trying the vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, you're doing a disservice to yourself to not try to make seitan. Um, so I want to introduce them to this, and show them what it can taste like. My plan right now is to make, because seitan tastes, it's a lot better mouthfeel if you let it, especially when you simmer it. If you let it sit in the liquid in the refrigerator overnight, because then it firms up and gets a much more meaty texture. So I'm gonna cook it Wednesday night and then let it sit in the fridge overnight. Then I'm probably gonna make some gravy and like finish everything Thursday morning in order to finish it. And all of that. And it's really funny because when I was talking to my cousin, she's like, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I want to do marinated tofu steaks. And I'm like, okay. So she's going to be marinating tofu, which is kind of like you make the marinade, you put it in the tofu, you put the tofu in the marinated container, put it in the fridge and let it sit overnight. I'm going to be actually like frying and simmering stuff. So that'll be interesting. And I don't know how to feel because like originally Thanksgiving dinner was going to be at a different relative's house. And I was like, oh, that's not what I expected, but you know, I'm rolling with it. Right. And then when I was talking to my aunt today, she's like, well, Thanksgiving's been moved. Now it's happening at my house, at her house. And I was like, oh, okay. And part of me is like, did they make that decision because of me? I hope I didn't just derail Thanksgiving. And so that's an interesting feeling to have. And so got all of that stuff. And like gonna be cooking. I'm hoping that they have stuff that I could eat the rest of the week too. If not, gonna be making, I mean, I'm bringing plenty of gluten flour so I can make plenty of seitan. For the recipe I'm thinking and the size I'm thinking, like maybe 2 cups of gluten flour should work for it, maybe 3. But because I'm gonna cut it with chickpea flour in order to maintain the protein without having the really tough consistency. I think I've mentioned this before, but like when I first went vegan, I had this dream. Not like I sleep dream, but like I have a dream. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a disservice. That's kind of an exaggeration. But like kind of like a goal, ideal, hope, far-fetched hope for the future. I had a dream that one day I would open a vegan restaurant that would serve thick, juicy, tasty seitan steaks. Because whenever I got seitan stuff at stores, it was always in these really small portions. And I used to go to a lot of vegan restaurants. Like the portions were like woefully small for everything except the soy product. The soy product, oh, they had plenty of soy product. You get massive portions of soy product. But if you got like seitan, like the stuff was small, or it was chopped up, or it was cut into strips, or it was like in slices. And I was like, I want to serve big, thick, juicy seitan steaks. Yeah, probably. But I was like, I want to cook big, juicy seitan steaks. Exactly. No time skips. Gotta live through the long part. and be like a vegan steakhouse. I guess I could serve like tofu steaks too. And my idea was, right, because you whenever you cook seitan, you cook it usually, hold on. You cook seitan normally 2 to 3 times, right? I like to do the 3 times method where you fry, simmer, fry. Where you fry it to lock in its size and shape. You simmer it in order to finish cooking it and infuse it with more flavor. And then before you serve it, you fry it, coat it in whatever sauces or flavorings and things you're going to be putting with it. And all that. So then I had this thing that, like, now this is before I knew all the stuff I know now about seitan, right? But I was like, every morning, just make massive batches of seitan sticks. Just like rows of seitan steaks, and then just finish them in the fryer anytime someone makes an order. But like, the thing is, because of how like storage is for seitan, it would be very prohibitively expensive. But I guess like now thinking back on it, I would probably need to cook the seitan in big batches overnight. I'd probably want to use one of the bake methods instead of the fry, simmer, fry, which makes me sad because you can get an industrial oven and then like have the racks in there in order to fry rows upon rows of them in order to finish cooking them. But those usually are good for logs. Those aren't good for steaks. The fry, simmer, fry method is great for steaks. You could steam it, I guess, but you're not going to infuse it with the same flavor that you can infuse it with the simmering. But yeah, I guess if I were to do that for realsies, I would probably have like, I would have to separate the kitchen into 2 different sides. Have one side of the kitchen be for regular customers and like gluten stuff, and the other side of the kitchen be for gluten-free stuff for people who don't do gluten. And I would have like marinated tofu steaks. So it would be marinated tofu steaks or it'd be seitan steaks. So that way it wouldn't just completely cut people out. Make mashed potatoes, steak fries, grilled vegetables. Get some steak sauce. Cook all the seitan in big batches every night. And then like use them up over the course of the next day. Then after closing time, you know, start making the next batch. Could get a really big pressure cooker. Those cook real fast. But again, those are more for logs and loaves. You want to, I don't know. It's really impractical. And like, it reminds me of this thing that I learned when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, there were so many times when I thought I had a broken combo, and when I tried to use it, someone would say, that's not how that works. And one of my friends told me, if you see a broken combo that looks like it's OP, can guarantee wins, and is just really good, but you look around at all of the pro players, all of the top tier players, all of the good players, and none of them are doing it, it probably doesn't work the way you think it does. Or it's Stardust, because Stardust is broken. That was when Stardust was all the hotness and had all of the great support. And And that's a thing too, where it's like, yeah, but like seitan isn't new. Seitan is a Japanese word for a Chinese food that has been like, and it's, I actually, yeah, that's true, Nabiru. So like seitan is actually really funny. I like it because of its history. I think I talked about it before, but I'll talk about it again. It's a Japanese word that means of protein or made of protein. I think that's what it means. And it like was coined, according to Wikipedia, in the 60s for a food that had been getting made in China since the 6th century. So like it is a very old technique. I remember when I learned how to make seitan from straight from flour, like taking all-purpose flour and starting with all-purpose flour and water and ending with a vegan meat substitute that was a meaty texture. Like I was so enthralled and so amazed with it, and I was like, I could totally just do this. But then after doing it more often, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much kneading. This is so much. You use so much water because you go through, in order to make seitan out of flour, just from regular flour, you have to wash the starches out of away from the gluten. And like hold on one second. Sorry about that. My roommate wanted to check in with me, and he told me that like one of my housemates wants me to like check in with them and let them know whenever I arrive in Florida. And wanted to know when we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, because he wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's also really funny. My roommate's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "It's Monday. I'm gonna be streaming." Well, I didn't tell him it was Monday, but like he knows it's Monday. And he's like, how would you feel about not streaming tonight and playing Yu-Gi-Oh with me? And I was like, no. That is not an option. But we agreed we're gonna, in the morning, I'm gonna pack up my stuff, and then after I pack up everything and I'm good to go, we're gonna play some Yu-Gi-Oh before he leaves and I leave, because he's going to the card shop later tomorrow, and I'm heading to Florida. Also, as a reminder, there's gonna be no stream on Friday and no stream a week from today because I will be in Florida. If that changes, I will let people know. I don't know. I'm gonna have my laptop with me, so I could theoretically stream. Just the sound quality would be booty. Because I'd be using my phone headset. Oh my gosh. I don't know. If I get really like tweaked out and like just need an outlet and need to do something, I might let Silva know, and I might just like boot up a stream just to be doing something else. I told them that I'm doing this. I didn't explain the stuff about the writing challenge, but I told them I'm doing a writing challenge, and they were like, okay, we'll get you set up with, you know, a place to write. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Speaking of which, let's get down to business. It's around that time. It's 9:01. Oh my gosh, I got distracted. Okay. Also, fun thing, on Sunday, right? Was like Saturday night, Sunday, whatever. Was the finals for League of Legends, was their world championship for this year, right? And like, I originally wasn't gonna watch because I'm not super invested in League, but I was like, their music's always so good. They put on such a great show. So I was like, I'm already gonna be writing anyway. I'm already gonna be up, so I'll watch the opening ceremony. But then I got like sucked into it, and it was all the hype, and like, you know, they know how to get you hype and draw you in. And like, I watched off and on. The only game I watched all the way through was the final game, and that was super hype and really exciting, and it was really easy for me to follow because the casters were really good at their jobs. And it was just really fun. And I think I want to go back to watching League again. I'm not ready to play, but I'm definitely going to be interested in watching. And it was really funny because the whole thing is about this one League of Legends player who goes by the name Faker, who is undoubtedly the greatest player to have ever touched League of Legends. And this was Faker's 4th world championship in his 10-year career. And he has been chasing, like, he won like 3 back-to-back, or like almost back-to-back, and like he has been chasing this for like 7 years. Has been chasing like 6-7 years, has been chasing this this 4th world championship, right? And like, I got drawn into it to see if he was gonna do it, because he's come in second so many times since then. He always gets to the finals or gets knocked out in the semifinals. It's always super close. But like, this year was just his year to catch back up, right? Anyway, so this guy I follow on Twitter, who I used to follow his YouTube stuff, Scooch, made a tweet the other day of a picture of himself and his girlfriend with Faker, right? With the player, right? And Scooch said something like, considering that League's been around for 13 years and I don't think it has another 13 years left in it, it is definitely arguable. It's definitely like viable to say or whatever that Faker will remain undefeated, the best of all time. No one will top him, right? Which is such a bad take. Is such a bad take. Like, league isn't going anywhere. Its player base has been growing every year. It's been expanding into new markets. It is getting bigger and bigger every year. They know what they're doing. So I commented, and I just said something really silly, because you know sometimes I like to like say something really silly and exaggerative and like just be over the top. So I'm like, League will outlive us all. One day, League will become an Olympic sport, and Faker will be studied like we studied the Olympians of old. Faker will be studied in textbooks like we study Olympians of old. And Scooch comments, like he replies, and he starts making some random reference to the NBA and how the NBA doesn't change its rules every 2 weeks, and how League of Legends has no staying power, and that they grew for a while, but now every patch they just lose people. And like all of the replies were just people dunking on him. People were like, that the only place that League of Legends is not growing is North America. Everywhere else, it's growing in viewership. Esports is growing. It is becoming more accepted. It's being played more. It is generally just growing as a game everywhere except for North America. And Scooch just kind of got dunked on, and I felt really weird because I kept getting all these notifications because he'd replied to me. So like my tweet went like semi-viral. So and like I just thought it was really funny because like all these people were just pointing out like, yo, if you just did a Google search, you'd see they're growing every year. Someone put it really well where they're like, yo, it's that thing where like I quit, so I presume everybody else is quitting too. Like, it was so silly to see Scooch getting dunked on. I didn't ratio him. Like, I didn't get more likes than his original post. I did get more likes than his reply to my post, which was funny. That was hilarious. So it's not quite a ratio, but it was still really funny because I was being so silly. I was being so silly. And I still don't know who bookmarked it. Someone bookmarked that tweet. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I wanted to share that. That is my moment to shine. Where I slightly dunked on a pro content creator. I didn't really dunk on him. I just set it up by being silly. And then he kind of just like goofed with, like, he just set himself up for it. And also somebody pointed out something really funny. I don't know this for sure, but apparently like a week ago there was a rule change in the NBA to like how the refs can call fouls or something. And someone pointed that out, and they're like, you made literally the single worst comparison you could have made. Like, you could have picked any other sport, but you picked the one that just had a major rule change. And I'm like, that's so funny. That's so funny. Anyway, it's 9:10. We're running late. I promised Zoids content. Let's get to some Zoids content. Let's get to some Zoids writing as we write more about metal regrets. We're getting into the regret stuff. I wanna go over what happened in the chapters since I since I last was with you all. We're writing chapter 18 tonight. All right, where is this? If I remember, I'm probably gonna like export all of my scenes and all of my stream settings and all my pictures, so that way, if worst comes to worst, I can still stream while I'm in Florida. I'm just glad I bought extra data this month, because now I'll be able to have data if I need it whenever I'm like traveling. Which is really funny that I got that extra 3 gigs of data. Okay, writing stream. Here we go. Boop. Come on. There we go. Cool. Got a little Scorpo on my shoulder. Okay, so a lot has happened, and it's really funny. I had like 2 really short chapters, and I was really worried, but then I had 1 really long chapter, and that kind of balanced it back out. So basically, main character's been like running and gunning and fighting and bonding with Scorpo and having all of this interaction, right? It's kind of like one of those like a man and his dog stories, right? But then in one of the fights he's in, Scorpo was able to project an energy shield and neutralize a shield Liger's energy shield by ramming the shield together, and the 2 energy shields cancel each other out and release a shockwave. And he gets really worried because he's like, what's going on? And he's like, what's going on? Wild Zoids shouldn't be able to have complicated pieces of equipment like energy shields. So he gets really scared that he's on the wrong side of this. He starts to doubt everything because he's worried that like he's going to be that he's actually transporting some kind of super weapon, and that what he's doing isn't saving the world at all, and he's just a pawn in a bigger scheme. Right? So he's worried about all this stuff, right? And then he goes to look through the files that he copied onto his data pad, only to discover that the woman, Jeffria, who was the woman that he rescued, who was like wouldn't talk to him for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden she started trying to sway him to her side. Who he had to like yeet out of the cockpit in order to get rid of her. He finds out that she activated a tracker on his data pad that he doesn't know how to get off, and he doesn't have, and just having the data pad on there, even if the phone app isn't turned on, even if it's an offline mode, there's a chance that it can be tracked. So he's like, crud, I can't look through this data. So whenever he's traveling a day or so later, he decides to make the phone call and to call his ex-wife. And there's been this building where like he's been having flashbacks to his experiences when he was married and what's going on with all of that. And one of the things that was revealed in some of his flashbacks was that his wife had this tendency to always bring her work home with her. And what she would do whenever she was getting down to working at home was she would hand off her phone to him and tell him to take messages. And so he got to tell people no when they wanted to talk to her and make them give him a message. And he starts wondering if, since he knows she's married now, he starts to wonder if she's going to do that, now. And okay, yep, I did have that she had the 2 kids. Yeah, he knows that she's married with 2 kids. And then he finally goes and makes the call. And sure enough, her new husband answers. And her husband has a cheesy name. His name is Honor. And he's like really jovial and friendly. And as soon as Mott tells him who he is, he's like, "Oh, I know some stuff about what's going on. I'm cheering for you. I'm hoping for the best. Give me a second to get her on the phone." And then like he goes on hold, and like he's having this moment where he's just processing the fact that like there's somebody else in that position now. And again, he's coming back to his regrets. Then when he talks to her, he tells her about the UNW and about what they're doing and getting in his way. And that kicks the ball rolling, where she's going to go on this quest off screen to go work on trying to track them down, find them, and stop them. So that kicks that off. And then he starts asking about Scorpo, about if Scorpo is really a weapon, if Scorpo, like, what is Scorpo? And he starts getting emotional because he doesn't like being used, he doesn't like being manipulated. And then his ex-wife ends up like yelling at him because she needs to get his attention because he's spiraling. He's starting to get loud and getting really angry, and she just kind of yells at him and is like, "Listen, all of these things are only to serve the goal of ensuring their survival until we can harvest cores for the next generation. Like, all of this is to ensure their survival. Everything we're doing is to the service of trying to make sure they ensure their survival. They will only grow whatever weapons or equipment they need. So if yours grew an energy shield, it's because it thought you needed an energy shield." And it also has grown. He discovered Scorpo has laser claws that come out of its pincers, and thrusters out the back, so and boosters. So Scorpo can booster jump. So that's a whole thing where like now Scorpo is becoming more and more powerful, and Scorpo is becoming more of an asset in battle and less of a liability, because before he had to protect Scorpo. Now he has to now Scorpo is almost protecting him. And that completely changes the dynamic. And then he gets into, then he gets tracked down. He made the call because he thought he was far enough from civilization that no one would be able to find him. But sure enough, somebody found him. And as he's ending the call, 3 Mulgas show up. These wheeled caterpillar type Zoids. And they start fighting. He takes out one, another one's damaging him. And then Scorpo went around to try to come up behind them for a pincer maneuver, and Scorpo jumps out of the bushes at them while they're shooting at him, smashes one with its energy shield, and then uses its laser pincers to cleave another one in half. And then they run off into the night. So that's where we're at right now. Outline. Oh my gosh, this is another one of those. So I do this thing where like I wrote these like simple like 3-sentence descriptors of what I want to do in the chapter, but like I'm so worried that it's not going to be enough to fill a chapter. So what I have is, this is dedication. This is the end of Act 2, right? Despite setbacks, the hero is determined to succeed no matter what. With more questions than answers, the main character keeps trekking, now having crossed into Imperial territory. He knows the UNW has branches in the Empire too, so he isn't out of the woods yet. As he comes over a cliff and sees a sunrise, he yells at the sky, expressing frustration and loss. He knows that he's doing the right thing, and he's determined to see this through. So I know what I want the chapter to end on. I want the chapter to end on that super anime, super, like, over dramatic, like, yelling at the sky, like with a sunrise, like after a long night of whatever, right? Of just being like, yeah, we got this, but it also is the end of Act 2, so it needs to wrap up. It needs to wrap up all the stuff that we've done in Act 2. Right? So, like, if we look at what we've done in Act 2, right? There's been a lot of introspection, a little bit of fighting, but a lot of learning about Scorpo's boosters and about Scorpo's weapons, and about a lot of political stuff has been thrown around. The main character has more questions that he's scared to ask because he doesn't want to get tracked down. He was getting confused feelings where he started to develop feelings with Jeffria once she betrayed him. Because he has some kind of a feeling where, like, he's just drawn to people that have more forceful personalities that are more capable than he is, right? He's just drawn to them. And he realizes what he wants isn't Jeffria. What he wants is his ex-wife. So there's some of that. And there's the promise that he'll be hunted to the ends of Planet Z. He'll never be safe. The whole Jeffria stuff took place in these chapters. I think, because this was started at chapter 10. Yeah, chapter 11 was where the whole Jeffria stuff started. And he's just been on this journey. He's just been on this journey since, like, chapter 10. Yeah, he left on the journey at the beginning of chapter 10. Right? And he's been on this journey. Oh my gosh, it's almost 9:30. And he's been learning about Scorpo, been learning about Godo, seeing Godo act out more independently. And all that stuff. He has so many questions, but he has to face all of this and dedicate himself. So this chapter has been all about this journey and this new world that he's been exploring of being on the road on this quest. And, like, he got sidelined to take care of Jeffria after he shot her down, right? And then after taking care of Jeffria and all that stuff, and he got back into moving, then Jeffria started talking, right? And they started having these, like, political diatribe. I think diatribe's the right word. They started having this political stuff going back and forth, right? And he doesn't know who to believe. He doesn't know what's what. And he's so confused, and he's just trying to do the right thing. He's not an ace pilot. He's not a He's not super politically savvy. He's just a dude trying to do what's right. Someone described this story as a slice of life, and I can't say they're wrong in that aspect, because there is a lot more drama than there is action. There is a lot more drama. I don't know. It's like I love reading action, but I'm bad at writing it. Like my stories just don't feature. Like there are so many ways I could feature more action, but it just does not happen in my stories, which is really funny. Also, I make this really funny joke where like he's talking to his ex-wife, and he's talking about how he met with the people of the ugly necessity of war, and he named the wild Zoid Scorpo, and all his wife hears is, "You named the scorpion type wild Zoid Scorpo. Cute, very like you." And he says, "Okay, I'm bad at names. You know this. It's a good thing we never had a dog. I would have named it Doggo." And he's just slipping right back into this position of talking to her like the last 15 years didn't happen. And I wanted to thread this line, right? Where the ex-wife isn't like pining to have him back. Like she has built her own life, right? She has built her own life and she's moved on. But I didn't want her to be like a jerk. I didn't want her to be mean or demanding or like antagonistic in any way. I wanted her to be like amicable, friendly, personable, a friendly individual. Okay. So I get to go buck wild with this. Let me put some notes down. I might do some action scenes with him like running and trying to avoid traps as he runs through the night. Where did I say they were? Did I say they were near the top? They're near the top of the mountain. But I also want to introduce this idea for the ending that like, actually, let me check something real quick. In chapter 9, there was a thing I wanted to put in there to set something up that I just remembered, and I don't remember if I put it in the chapter. Yeah. I did say that she never made... Yeah, she never made a reference. Okay. Okay. I did say that. I wanted to make sure I'd said the whole thing about the wife never having mentioned him. All right, it is 9:30 and we have not written a single word, and that is not okay. Oh, excuse me, belching. So we start with setting the scene. Okay, so this is the thing that he finds from his checks, which is that so far neither Zoid's taken any serious damage. We're not raising the stakes at that point yet. It's not till Act 3 that we start seeing... Actually, let me check my outline, because... that's not going to work. Oh, we're almost to chapter 20. The second plot twist. Okay. So this is so Act 3 is when Goto starts taking serious damage. Act 3 is where Goto starts taking serious damage. So right now they're in the no serious damage position. Actually, hold on. Okay, so he did do some of that. I don't want to say he's bad at it. So let's call back to that. Okay. Might make a big battle scene. I mean, it's funny. You know, I was thinking about, ooh, I could end this with a big battle scene of him fighting through the night in desperation, trying to get over the top of the mountain. Have him fighting. Have him going through like running, gunning, fighting, slashing, kicking. Oh my gosh. Chapter 9. I'm just looking at my notes for next chapter and none of that works. Actually, that works. Okay. Okay. Why there are not 3 R's and overrun? I should see what's faster, a Godos or a... Let me check something. I know that there are tracking cookies. I don't need to be told, AVG. Alright, Godos maximum speed 150 kilometers per hour. Volgas are faster. Oh, that's funny. Pop it up. Okay. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. But I didn't... that actually just occurred to me. I'm like, Mulgas are pretty fast. Mulgas are pretty gosh darn fast. Okay. I just realized of all the things that I've said that he had in his initial bag, I haven't used any of the things that he actually had. That's funny. Got maps. He's been using that. Raincoat. He hasn't been raining yet. Spare travel clothes. Got that. Lighter and butane. Use that for making the fire. Fishing line and tackle. Got that. Soap. He's been using towels and toothbrush. And the toilet paper made a reference. Okay, so I have referenced everything. Okay. Ah. Okay, so this is again coming back to things going wrong. Okay. It's 10 o'clock and we aren't even one page in. Oh no. We're only 500, we're about 600 words in and it's 10 o'clock. Oh my gosh. Just got to write a long action sequence. I just got to write a longer and better action sequence than I've ever written in my entire writing career. That's all I got to do, chat. That's all I got to do. wait, no, 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 no. I forget. He's not going north. He's going west. So they would be coming north to south or south to north. Let me check one thing. Okay. All right, so what we're doing here is we're having the main character try to come up with a plan and run with it. He's trying to run with it. He has a plan, but then it's all going to fall apart around him. This entire chapter, this entire paragraph is redundant. Okay. Okay. This goes better, and it doesn't counteract. I don't want to contradict or counteract or render completely pointless something I said in a previous paragraph, especially not one paragraph later. Mm. This is where he's like he's dealing with this stuff and he doesn't have the mind space, he doesn't have the resources, he doesn't have the everything to really worry about the stuff like, did the pilot survive? Um and that weighs heavily on him later, but right now he just needs to survive. I'm telling you, I'm bringing these Mio water flavorings with me to Florida because I use them so much. I use them so much to keep myself hydrated. I haven't been to the store to get sparkling water. Like, I used up most of my food stamps getting groceries the other day, and I'm saving my food stamps in case I have to get stuff whenever I come down to Florida to get supplies. So I haven't had a chance to get sparkling water yet. What did she say? Okay, this is where we're gonna introduce some more of that stuff. With the woman Jeffria becoming more present again, because I don't want to introduce another character. don't know if I like this part. I'm really iffy on this part because I don't know if I want it to be Jeffria. I don't know if I want this to be Jeffria here or if I want this to be another, just some nameless schmuck. Because I want Jeffria to show up in a later chapter. And to be kind of shocking that she's back. Okay, so now he's trying to make this. So now this is moving from being like kind of sweet and calm and all of that stuff, and this guy's being threatening, right? He's saying, "Listen, you don't want to get your ex-wife mixed up with us. We know you still care about her. If you get your ex-wife mixed up with us, like she doesn't want us as enemies." Oh my gosh. I have to write one more fight scene. I'm gonna write a cool fight scene. Mm. Okay, so now I just gotta write a cool fight scene. So what's he processing? So he's up against the Saber Fang, which is going to be just faster and more powerful. It's going to be faster with bigger weapons, and is going to be able to fight much more consistently against him, right? This is where he's fighting something that actually fights back. The last couple fights, he got the drop on somebody, or he just, he had a plan. He was fighting other small Zoids. This is him fighting something that is much larger. Much larger, much more powerful, and something that is ready to tangle with him. All right, Silva, thanks for coming. Have a good one. I'll let you know if I'm going to be in your direction or anything. I'm trying to see if I might be able to work something out for after Thanksgiving, like the day after or something. I don't know. I'll be in touch. I don't know what's happening. Everything is weird. Ugh. This is a desperate battle, so I want this to be, well, this is like the start of the desperate battles. We might run a little bit late because I want this to go well. Has to have taken damage. Yeah, it has to have taken damage already. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay, so it has to have taken damage. Ooh, this is getting good. So this is turning into quite the battle scene. Right. Okay. He has to make a decision because, like, he's in a desperate battle and he doesn't have the option to just shoot the legs out from under them. He doesn't have the option to try to choose a less than lethal approach. He's outmatched in this fight. So he has to make a decision. What is the weight of the zebra fang? Zebra fang is taller and twice as long and 3 times as heavy. Yeah, so this thing is way larger than Scorpo. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. This was a good chapter. Okay, so were you saying I have more questions than answers, I have more enemies than friends, but what I do know is that I will kill to protect Scorpo and to see this mission through. Okay. All right. I'm just standing on the mountaintop in the All right, how many words was that? I think that was a bit of a long one. Which is kind of funny because I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because I had very little to go on. I had to come up with a lot of original stuff when I was doing this. Oh. 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 That was weird. Why is this not letting me? Being so weird. All right, that's not bad. And we're up to where I wanted to be. We're at 36,000 words for the current document, and we're at 2195 for the chapter. 2195 for the chapter, 36,000 for the document. And we're about to get into the hard part. That is the end of Act 2. Got the big climactic battle. Main character has to kill again. He's faced setbacks. He's fighting his way through all of this stuff. He gets inklings of what's happening behind the scenes. And he has to make the hard choice to kill to protect Scorpo. So that is, and he's been running and gunning all night long, and it looks like that's not going to stop anytime soon. Now it works fine. Yeah, why did it not work before? That time the scroll wheel worked fine. What in the world was that? All right, let's go to wind down mode. Let's go to just chatting mode. All right, so we are at 36,000 words, 18 chapters. It's like 36,100 words. But yeah, we are at 18 chapters, 2 acts done. we are coming into the final bit of this. I think I'm gonna finish on either the 29th or the 30th. Like, we have, today is the 20th, so I have 10 days left. I have 9 chapters left, so I should finish on the 29th, which gives me a day if something goes wrong. After I get out of stream tonight, I'm going to be prepping my laptop in order to make sure my laptop is ready to go tomorrow, so I can do some writing at the airport before I get on the plane. So going to be working on that. And yeah, that's going to be a thing that's going to happen. And tomorrow's my flight. This is going to be a ride. Thank you all for coming. Sounds like a new song. I don't remember this one. Okay. So, this has been a great ride. 18 chapters completed on stream. So, let me look at my calendar. Next stream. Alright. My aunt just... Why are people texting me when I'm streaming? Oh my gosh. I'll try not to, Nabiru. As of right now, next stream... Ooh, I'll be gone that Monday. So my next stream is going to be Friday, December 1st. Yes. I fully expect to be dealing with chaos or dealing with, like, if I have to deal with one of my uncles, I know it's going to be problematic because he always is like, what are you doing? What's your hustle? How are you making money? You know, how are you being successful? And trying to be like this, like, guard dog of the family, but he's just being really annoying and doesn't understand how anything works. Like, one of my uncles, I was trying to open up to my mom about, like, some of the stuff I was going into, and my mom, for whatever reason, handed the phone to my uncle. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna open up, and I talked to my uncle about some of the dark stuff that's been going on in my life, right? Like how I went through a period of my life where I just wanted to, like, unalive myself. And that was a really dark period of my life, and I was trying to explain that was something I've been through, but I'm getting help and I'm getting better. I'm doing this stuff. And then he's like, okay, hold on a second. And I heard him, like, start walking away from my mom with my mom's phone. I'm like, what in the world? And then he just started yelling at me. And I'm like, what? And he just started yelling at me and yelling. And I was like, what in the world? What in the world? But December 1st. Hopefully December 1st will be a stream where I will have completed this project. I'll be able to tell you all how it ends. I'll be getting ready to, like, start my first round of edits, looking for beta readers, and getting all of that stuff underway. So yeah. Anyway, it's 11:30. I want to be up early in the morning in order to start packing, because there's this thing where in order to get to my clothes, I need someone to deflate their bed in order to get my suitcase near their clothes without risking my suitcase popping their bed. So, like, So I had to say, hey, when are you deflating your bed so I can get to my clothes? And they're like, well, I'll deflate my bed Tuesday morning when I leave for work. And I'm like, great. So I am packing first thing Tuesday morning. It is going to be quite an exciting ride. But I gotta prep my laptop because it's funny. I cleared my laptop of all of the things that I was using, all of my programs. I logged out of Google. I logged out of everything on my laptop. So that way, when my roommate would use it to watch anime and stuff, there'd be no chance of my roommate accidentally like streaming or accidentally sending a message to my partner or like accidentally doing something as me. Or I know my roommate can be a little bit of a troll sometimes. That sometimes he gets these really, really dumb ideas because he likes to cause trouble, and he thinks, and for him, picking on people and causing chaos is a love language for him, which is really annoying sometimes. And I don't need him trying to prank me by pretending to be me on some form of social media and saying something really dumb. I just don't need that happening. So I logged out of everything on that computer. So now I have to log back into stuff so that way I have access to stuff. I still think it's funny that you have to pay to use the internet on Spirit flight. So I'll probably have internet while I'm at the airport, but I won't have internet whenever I'm actually on the plane. I gotta update all my backups and stuff on my flash drive. Charge my phone. Gotta set a password to my computer because my roommate, like, he asked me if he could use my computer. Right. I cleared all of the saved passwords. I like did a reset on all of the saved passwords on there, Nabiru. And it was like so I'm in a basement normally, right? And the rats and stuff normally stay away because there's lights, there's sounds, there's me being here, and then the rats avoid like large predators, right? The concern was with me being gone for a week that rats would overrun and start like chewing on the wires and like chewing through my bed and just generally being a nuisance, right? And that is a risk. But my roommate said that he would chill down here. He'd sleep in my bed and he would just kind of chill down here in his spare time in order to keep the rats away. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's cool. I didn't expect that. I appreciate that. And then he asked if he could use my computer to watch YouTube. And I'm like, there's no way I'm locking up my computer. Like, I mean, there's no way that I can have my computer prepped for him to use to watch YouTube. Like, I don't have enough time to lock everything down. So now I'm like, great. And I'm like, I said no. And it was like, I said no. And he said, okay, you said no, don't have to explain it. That's fine. I'm like, great, awesome. He understands. Cool. I don't have to set a password. Then today, that was like a day ago, right? Then today, he's like, I wanted to ask if I could use your computer to go on YouTube so I'm not bored while I'm down here. And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, well, I'll let you think on it. And I'm like, I see. So now I'm like, great, I have to set a password. It's silly, but it's the stuff I have to do. He's hoping I don't get kidnapped, right? This is the adventure. On some level, I'm doing all of this to spread the gospel of Satan. To teach more people how great it is to eat gluten. It sounds so ridiculous when I say it out loud. I just want to cook for my family. That is what's going on at its core. Anyway, let's wind down. I normally like to say positive things about my viewers as we end the stream in order to wind down for the night. So I will say to Silva, to Duelist Otaku Nabaru, to anyone who watched the stream and didn't say anything and lurked, and to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say I love all of you. I believe in each and every one of you, and I think that each one of you is truly special, wonderful, unique, and one of a kind. I believe that each of you possesses a one-of-a-kind energy that only you can bring to everything you do. And I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it, and I'm thankful that you make this world a better place by living in it. Yeah, I know what you mean, Naberu. I thank you for coming to my stream, for giving me your time, your attention, and your energy. Thank you for being a member of this community and making this community better. Always remember the community motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. If you have any friends, relatives, aunts, uncles, nephews that you think might enjoy my content, feel free to show them my content or invite them to the next stream. The next stream is going to be December 1st, Friday, December 1st is going to be my next stream, 8:30 p.m. EST. I will probably be doing just like a free chat stream where we talk about my vacation, tell stories, go over how the writing went, and all that stuff will be what I do in the final stream. Not final, that next stream. Definitely not final. I have a lot more streaming left in me. Going strong. But it'll be the final day where I talk about the NaNoWriMo. With that said, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing on YouTube, you can subscribe and ding the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live or when I release any new content. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, follow me on X or Twitter or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. I want everyone to know that I do this as a hobby and I do not expect anyone to donate or to give money. I never want anyone to feel like they have to donate to be a part of this community. With that said, if you ever are in a position where you safely can donate and you feel moved to do so, I would gladly accept that. And there are links where you can do that in the description down below. I'm grateful to each and every person who has donated to help make things possible in my life and who has made things a reality that couldn't have been. And I'm thankful to each and every one of you. This has been a great year as we come to the end of the year. I'll probably do some more free chatting streams, just kind of winding down and cooling down with the year. 2024, I want to be a year where I take things more seriously. I don't know what that's going to look like. Still working that out. Just trying to figure out how much I can do. And see how much effort I can do and not burn myself out. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you for being amazing. And I wish you all a good night.